All right, Junkie Nation, buckle up. Here we go. Gorgeous Georgian goes, delivering on another MMA superstar. This time it's Cody Stamann, UFC bantamweight, who is going to be fighting Brian Kelleher on Saturday at UFC 250. Holy cow, is there a spotlight on the bantamweight division this weekend? It's cracking. Cody, how you doing? Good to have you on the show. And obviously, I know you have a heavy heart. So on behalf of Junkie Nation, MMA Junkie, Goes, and myself, our thoughts and prayers with you and your family. I know you have some bad news that you just shared with us right now, but again, man, our condolences, our deepest condolences.
Yeah, it's super heavy on my heart. I lost a little brother last week. Uh, my heart is absolutely broken. I don't even know. Like, there's no words. There's nothing I can say or think that makes it any better. But my mind is sharp. That kid loved watching me fight. He's got to be one of my biggest fans. So, I'm focused on the fight. This isn't taking my focus. If anything, it's fuel for the fire. And I'm looking forward to being the absolute best version of myself Saturday night.
Cody, I'm sure he'll be watching. Definitely, I'm sure he was your biggest fan. I was looking at your Instagram and right before as well. And of course, if this is a personal matter, all respect to you and your family. But I guess what I wanted to know, was this unexpected, or was this something he was there an illness he was dealing with? And again, you can shed light on whatever you want.
It was super unexpected. Super unexpected. We had just made plans to have him come out. We actually canceled plans because of COVID-19. My mom, didn't want him flying while everything was happening, so we kind of postponed our plans. And then I got a fight, and then it was kind of like, hey, yeah, you're gonna come out here right after I fight. And so it's super unexpected, but life is unexpected. I mean, if the last few months have taught us anything as a society, it's nothing's promised. You never know what the hell's gonna happen. So I mean, it's devastating, but I still have a job to do. I still have to keep my head in a good place and do everything I can to honor him by being the best man I can be now, because death is permanent. It's over. So now it's on me to live my life better for him.
Was there ever a time that you considered pulling out because of this, because of COVID? Because even in the last week or so, I know you're from the state of Minnesota. I don't know how close the what happened to George Floyd is to your friends and family, but it just seems like there's a lot surrounding. When I think of Cody Stamann, there's a lot obviously impacting, yourself.
No, absolutely not. There was never a time, when it all happened. It was last week. I canceled all my interviews the next day, and I talked to a lot of different people about it. Everyone's kind of like, hey, if you want to postpone this and you want to wait a little longer, that's 100% understandable. And I was like, I just thought what most people think. I think in those situations, like, what would the person that passed, what would they want? What would they want you to do? And I could say without a shadow of a doubt, he would want me to compete. He loved watching me compete. And I know that that's what he would want. So, it was just never an option, never an option. COVID-19 it was never an option for me not to compete. I love what the UFC is doing. I love that the UFC is thinking about its athletes and trying to get ahead of this thing. You can't live in fear, and you can't live in fear. You can't cower behind fear. You can't stay in your house and lock yourself away because of fear. That's not how I live my life as an athlete or a man. I don't think that we should quarantine the healthy. I think we should quarantine the sick. I mean, that's what everyone's done throughout history, so I'm all for moving forward against, whatever adversity, comes my way.
Aljamain Sterling had an interesting post, and he basically was just rallying, I guess, the troops, meaning all the bantamweights. Hey, this is our time to shine. And, and looking at it, I mean, there's some really pivotal matchups. A lot's going to shake out at 135.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about where you feel like your spot is within 135? We know that it seems like Aldo versus Jan is settled because Cejudo retired. And then we have some other matchups. But then tell me, do you feel like you're in the second wave of contenders that could make, where now you might be fighting for a number one contender spot should you best Brian Kelleher on Saturday?
So, I mean, I feel like when you're a ranked guy, you're always kind of like 2 fights away from a title fight. If you're in the top 5, maybe a little closer, but where I am, I feel like I could potentially be 2 fights away. But with the number of guys succeeding at my weight class, it's hard to say where you stand. You know what I mean? Frankie Edgar comes down and he's fighting at bantamweight now. Jose Aldo comes down and is fighting at bantamweight now. Like, I had a pretty good. I assumed that when Cejudo retired, that Sterling and Jan would fight, or Sterling and Marlon would fight again. There's so many guys that could potentially, have earned this spot, have earned a shot at the title. That, my standing is like I have to win probably 2 fights before I even get a fight against one of those guys, before I'm even considered. And I'm just being realistic. There was a time when I really thought, when I was the number 10 guy in the world, I was like, you know what, if I beat number 5 and I beat one more really tough guy, like that could be me right there. But then, Aldo popped up and Edgar popped up and Cruz came back and all these guys came back. And now it's just like, there's like literally like, if you look at bantamweight as a whole, it is the most stacked division, 1 to 15 I've ever seen. You know what I mean? There's tons of guys that are undefeated in the UFC. Guys have 12 fights. There's like 4 champions just in the top 10. I mean, and then there's guys that were UFC champs or world champs that aren't even in the top 15. Like Faber or Edgar, who's I don't think ranked yet. It's just it's insane. I mean, the division is absolutely insane. So for me, it's just about winning. I have to win. I have to beat everybody, and I need to be prepared for every single one of these guys. I watched every single guy in the division like they could be my next fight. And right now it's Brian Kelleher. He's a tough guy. He's got a good guillotine. He looked like shit in this last fight, I thought, and then he caught a lucky break with the left hook. But he's dangerous. He's dangerous. He's fought good guys. He's a vet. He's a journeyman in the sport. So, I'm prepared for a war. But after I beat him Saturday night, I'm gonna be looking for one of those guys that can, elevate me to a different level in the division for sure.
Cody, I've always known you as a very patient individual, but with that patience, you've always been clear about your goals. The way you laid things out, maybe 2 fights, in a way, could that be a good thing to kind of just let those guys go at it at the top, take some miles off of each other, and then a young Cody Stamann builds himself up, comes in, and takes that title? Is that almost like a better scenario?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I mean, I was fighting, my 3rd UFC fight, I'm fighting, Brian Kelleher. And then I'm fighting Aljamain Sterling. Like, these guys have like 12, 13 UFC fights. They've been in the UFC as long as I've been a professional athlete. So for me, like, I feel like I haven't even peaked yet. I'm not even at I'm not that guy yet. You know what I mean? I'm being realistic with myself and with my abilities. Like, I can see things happening in the gym and mentally that are promising, and I know for a fact that there's going to come a point when I'm going to have no doubt in my mind that I'm the best guy in the world, and all I got to do is show up to the fight. All I got to do is make it to the cage. And once I'm in there, it's a done deal. But I'm not there yet. The confidence isn't 1,000% there. The skills are, continuing. I'm sharpening. I'm evolving. Am I a lot better athlete than I was 5 months ago? Say, absolutely. I've been doing nothing but training for the last 5 months. I've been at a training camp for 5 months, basically. I am by far the best athlete I have ever been in my entire life, right now. But to compete with those guys, you can't just be the you can't be the best. There needs to be a huge gap, so that way if things go wrong in a fight or things, you know what I mean, something happens in your preparation, like you need to be so much better that none of that matters. I'm not there yet. So yeah, absolutely, let these guys fight it out, and I'll keep developing. I'll keep fighting guys around my ranking, and then when the time comes, I'll have the experience, I'll have the skills, I'll have the confidence, I'll have everything I need to be the man. But I'm definitely not that guy yet.
Originally when you had the opponent switch, you had brought up the name Uriah Faber, and you said, hey, Faber's been a kind of around here. If he can make that happen, we'd love to do that. And my head started spinning when you said that, because right away, the first thing I do is just picture what the fight would be like. And you guys are the reason that they fight in cages, because I think a cage is the only thing that could keep you guys in one area. You guys would be all over the place. It'd be a very interesting fight. When this fight is over, was the Uriah Faber thing just because he was kind of around at that time, or is that a fight that you would like to maybe revisit in the future? Because it got my head spinning. I know a lot of people would like to see that.
Well, I mean, my opponent gets hurt. Uriah Faber steps on the scale almost exactly to the day a week before that happens. So I'm assuming that he's honestly ready and willing to fight. At least that's what he's portraying to everyone, like that he's he's still in the mix. He's still that's me directly quoting him. He says he's still in the mix with the best bantamweights in the world. I'm like, well, I'm one of the best guys in the world. I'm ranked. You're not. This makes sense. I need an opponent. It seems like you want to fight. It just like everything just made sense. And I talked to Jason House, my manager, and he's like, dude, who knows? Yeah, why not? Give it a shot. And then radio silence on his end. Obviously, what Faber's portraying to the media and what he actually wants to do are two totally different things. I don't think he actually wants to fight. So if that changes, after this Brian Kelleher fight, yeah, I would absolutely love to fight Faber. You know what I mean? He's like one of the guys I grew up watching. He's one of the guys that got me into the sport, and he's an OG. You fight, you're talking about one of the best guys to ever do it. Absolutely, I want that fight, but that's up to him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna chase him around and badmouth him, because I don't think he's that bad of a guy. I don't want to be that kind of person either. You know what I mean? If the guy doesn't want to fight, or if he's looking for a certain thing, which I think he is, whatever, I'll move on. There's plenty of guys to fight at bantamweight. There's a lot of tough guys. You're talking about, the legends, Jose Aldo, Frankie Edgar. I mean, there's a million fights that could make sense to me that aren't Uriah Faber.
You think Triple C comes back, Cody?
Oh yeah, he's gonna do the old GSP. He's gonna come back right when somebody gets the title, or a fight makes sense that he knows he can make, and he could come in, make some money, and walk away again. He'll come back. Just have to be the right guy, someone that can't wrestle, that's either has the title or a super fight that would make sense for him to make money. He'll be back, but I don't think it'll be like in the 5-fight capacity. I imagine it'll be a fight or 2 fights.
If I wanted to do, well, this is our last question. Again, thank you so much for the time here on Fight Week. Let's end with this one. If you want to partake, great. If not, I know some fighters aren't into the whole prediction game, but if I wanted to do a 4-team, 4-fight bantamweight parlay, who are the 4 bantamweights that win on Saturday night? Obviously, I know you're going to take yourself over Brian Kelleher. What about the other ones? Who do you think gets their hands raised?
Me, Sean O'Malley, as much as I hate saying that. The Garbrandt Sunsao fight is the one that I'm struggling with. I think Sterling wins. So me, Sterling, Sean O'Malley, Garbrandt, and Sunstow is the one that I would really struggle with. I want to say Garbrandt wins. But Sunstow's a really hard guy to hit, and he's really, really smart, and he knows how to win. And Garbrandt's been on a little bit of a skid, but from what I've heard, he's been training really, really hard. And when Cody Garbrandt's training hard, he's probably one of the best guys in the world. So I would say Garbrandt, Sterling, me, O'Malley.
There you go. And if you don't mind, the O'Malley part, you said it came out and you weren't, you didn't like it. Is there a personal beef or between you and O'Malley, or what?
No, it's nothing personal. I don't know the guy, but look at who he's fought. I get people text me all the time. Man, did you see Sean O'Malley? Did you see this? Did you see that? And I'm like, yeah, I know, but who's he fought? You know what I mean? Who's he actually fought that is a contender? Who's he fought that's moving up? Who's he fought that isn't, not in the UFC anymore or on their way out? Look at the guys he's fought. I haven't seen him. Like, he fought Andre Sukuntat, who's like a 500 in the UFC, and he almost lost. He almost lost to Tyrion Ware, who was 0-4 in the UFC. I beat him on 7 days' notice. I just, you look at who the guys are competing against. But, time will tell. Time will tell where Sean O'Malley stands. As soon as he gets a hold of somebody that can really put it all together, he's really going to struggle. Somebody like me, someone that can punch and kick and take you down. You know what I mean? That's not going to be a fight that he can win.
Well, I'll tell you what, this division is banging, and I'm glad that you're all, there's some chirping going on here and there, but it seems like it's all pretty respectful. You just actually answered a question, and, you made your points, you stated the facts, and that's that. But I'm telling you, this division is cracking, and I almost wish it would just go 16-man tournament, and Grand Prix with a big old $1 million check like the one Bellator wrote, for their welterweight. We crown a champ and we figure it all out. I think that would be epic because apparently now we have a vacant title, but they don't listen.
Or we split it up, make it 35, 40, 45. There's enough talent. There's enough talent in the world. Those are the most talented divisions. You know what I mean? 35, 45. Are huge. So much talent. What if you want a
tournament at 45 as well? They got a champion in Volkanovski.
Well, I'm saying that maybe we should add a division at 140.
Oh. All right, slow down, Cody Stamann. We're doing good with 35. I'm already trying to get 65 and 75 and get rid of 70 just because we can play the whole 5 game, 15, 25, 35, and so on. And you're trying to throw 40 in there. Woo, that'd be a tough one. But, yeah, you're right, man. It's stacked with talent. Those days are coming. But in the meantime, let's focus on Saturday. Great matchups. Eight great bantamweights are fighting on Saturday. Cannot wait to see it. Thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it. Again, our deepest condolences to you and your family. We're Vegas guys. You're Vegas guys. Anything you need, Junkie Radio guys are always just a call away. All right, my man?
You guys are great. Thank you.